Hello viewers, this is Guru Vasudeva. Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to show you how to configure the remote desktop services with unlimited sessions without using any crack or patch. Now I am going to show you how to install the operating system, server operating system, and remote desktop services role, and how to tune the group policy, how to enable the service. Finally, I am going to demonstrate you. You can go with either bare metal installation or hypervisor based installation. Since I do not have any bare metal machine with me, so I am using the VMware Workstation Pro as my hypervisor. So I have downloaded the Windows Server 2012 R2 image from the Microsoft official website. I am going to install it. So for installation, I have allocated the 16 GB of RAM and 4 cores CPU, but it is not necessary. You can proceed with 4 GB RAM and 2 core CPU also if you have the CPU crunch, but I recommend if you are using it for the production, then you give a good amount of compute. So while installation, it is a standard Windows processor. It will ask for the keyboard layout and your language and time settings, so you can give wherever you live and whichever your region may be, and you have to accept the terms and conditions of the Microsoft, and you have to do the partitioning. Then you can proceed with the installation. Once the installation is completed, during the final stage it will prompt you for the administrator password and give the administrator password. Here I suggest you move with the server with GUI, since I am not much comfortable with the server core installation, which is a CLI based. So okay, system is rebooting. Yep. Okay, here we have to give the administrator password, which will be used subsequently for login purposes. So by default, server manager will pop up automatically during the login. So I will just disable the setting, since it is not needed for me on every day or every time when I log in. I'm going to install the VMware tools. So it actually provides a good space at the VMware Workstation Pro display space. or console space, you can say. So now I am going to install the remote desktop services role. For this one, we have to open the server manager. Just click on the server manager. Once it loaded all of its components, then click on the add roles and features. Manage, add roles and features. Then click on the next. Thanks. Next. Okay. Here we have to give the remote desktop services role. Here particularly we need to click on the remote desktop session host service, then click restart if necessary, and click on the install to start the installation, and if it needed, the installation will proceed with the restart. So we have to log in again, and post login we will open the server manager to see our role installation status. Installation started. Okay, the installation is succeeded. Now we are going to configure the service. Yes, you have to go to the computer advanced settings by holding the Windows key and pause break, or you can open the on-screen keyboard and click on the Windows and pause break. If not, you can click on the start menu and search for the advanced settings. Then you can go for the remote settings. If not, just you have to right click on the my computer properties and then advanced and then remote. Then you can enable the simply remote settings, and you can go to the services to verify that whether your remote desktop services is enabled or not. And please keep it in mind and try to disable the network level authentication option until unless you have an active directory in your network and then you want to authenticate the AD users. So here my RD remote desktop services role is running. So we will edit the group policy for how many connection for the maximum number of connections permitted in this system. By default only 2 connections are permitted, and we are going to increase it to as many as we want. And at the same time we will enable the session resuming. That means if a user is logged in here, he will get the desktop and he moves to some other place. From other place, if he wish to access his own desktop, simply he has to connect. The old session will get terminated and the new session will be sorry, the old session will get terminated from the old PC and the same session will be resumed at the new PC. Yep, this is a single remote desktop services session. We have to enable it. Otherwise, every logon will create a new session, and which consumes a lot of resources. And here we have to mention the number of connections which we want to allow. For unlimited, you have to type 999999. So I am going to create the users for testing, and then we have to add those users either in administrators group or in remote desktop users group. Otherwise, the users will be created, they will get the console access, but they won't be able to log in using the remote console. Yeah. So you can see I have created the total 7 users, and then I am supposed to add these users to the remote desktop users group. Otherwise, they will not be able to establish a remote session with this system. You need not to go for the advanced and then find and all. You simply have to type the username and then semicolon for till the till as many users you want. Basically, you have to put the all user details separated by a semicolon and simply press OK. Then users will be added to the same group. So just I'm going to demonstrate it to you. Before demonstration, I'm just checking how many connections are permitted, whether single desktop is permitted or not. And mind you, and restricting the users to the single desktop session is not mandatory. Yes, connections that you have to check. 5 connections total I have allowed, including administrator. My system has got 8 users, that is administrator and user 1 to user 7. My system's IP address is 192.168.120.131. So from my base machine, I am establishing the connection. So here I am using the credentials of administrator and admin at the rate 123. I have logged into the system. So you can see the console has got disconnected, locked, and the remote session is active. That means one user will get only one session. Okay, so remote desktop users properties. Okay, 7 users are there. First session is there. I'll go to the session. I'll open a command prompt so that this is my administrator session, and I'll open the task manager to see how many sessions are active. Yeah, just click on the more details and go to users. So currently one session is active and I have permitted total 5 sessions. So now I will log in using user 1. till user 4, system is supposed to permit me administrator user 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 sessions will get consumed, and for user 5 it should not allow me. And for every login, I'll open the command prompt and I'll open the task manager to see which user I have logged in and how many users totally logged into the system. So this is user 1, task manager, and I'm supposed to see administrator and as well as user 1. Yep. So user 4, with this user 4, total 5 sessions will get consumed and system is not supposed to permit me after that till I increase the limit. So currently 5 users are logged into the system. Administrator user 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me check what are the maximum connections permitted. So I have limited it to 5. So and total 5 users are logged in, so system should not allow after that. See, for 6th user, system is not even prompting for the credentials. So what we will do, we will go to the administrators and we will simply increase the connections. 6, one more. Okay, so since we have edited the group policy, we need to update it. Yep, update completed. Then I will try to establish one more session. Yep, so I log in it with user 5. It should allow me. Then I'll open the command prompt. I will open the taskbar to see the active users. Command prompt. So I have logged in as user 5, and total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 users are permitted. And by default, without license, this remote desktop server will work for 120 days. And after the 120 days, the grace period is over. System won't allow the service to run. At the time, system will form a registry entry with a name called as time bomb, and we need to remove the particular time bomb entry to make the particular service work again. Let's open the registry editor and let's navigate to the grace period. Go to HKLM system current control set, control, terminal server, RCM and grace period. So this is the time bomb entry. And when we configure the RDS role, at that time this entry won't be visible. The sooner you establish the first session, the time bomb entry will be formed. Now I am going to show you. Still I am able to log into the machine using the remote desktops. That means my services are working fine. Now I will move to the console and I will check whether my registry entry is still existing or not. Then I will move my system time to the out of the license period zone. That means ahead of 120 days. Then I will show you that the system is not permitting the remote desktop sessions anymore, since the RDS license is not incorporated and no license servers are available. Then I will try to remove the role. Then I will again add the role. I will check the remote desktop services. That means I will disable the network level authentication and I will enable the remote desktop. Then I will show you at the time again the things are working fine. So I have moved my time ahead of 120 days, which is out of the license period. So I am just establishing a remote desktop session. It is simply prompting. I am just putting the credentials. Okay, yes. So it is saying the remote desktop session was disconnected because there are no remote desktop license server available with the provided license. Okay. So now what I will do? I will simply remove the I will time bomb entry, and then I will reconfigure the RDS role along with the RDS service. So I have currently logged in as administrator, so I have given the privileges for administrator to make the changes. So I will remove the entry key, time bomb key. Just I am removing it. Then I will remove the RDS role, remote desktop service role. And post removal, what I will do, I will check whether the removal process is succeeded or not. Once the removal process is succeeded, then I will restart my system for a safe side. Then I will add the role. Yeah, the removal is succeeded now. Now I will restart my system, and post restart I will proceed with the installation of the same role. So I am again adding the same role, that is remote desktop session role. Sessions, restart it if required, then proceed with the installation. Ensure the role is installed properly, then check for the remote desktop services. Installation succeeded for the role. then close it, then check the remote desktop service, ensure that the network level. So currently the time is 30 November, which is ahead of the grace period. Then we will try to log in the system. The system is supposed to allow our connection, which ensures the role and service were properly configured and installed and running. So I am able to log into my particular system. So that means we have overcome the grace period problem. Now we will see how to harden the particular system by configuring or by optimizing the inbound rules at the Windows firewall. So for this one, go to run firewall.cpl and go to the advanced settings. There you will find Windows firewall is on, and without rule, if any inbound connection is coming, that will be dropped. For outbound, it is allowed. And go to inbound rules, sort the rules based on the enabled state. Here the unwanted rules are supposed to be disabled. What are the unwanted rules? The services which are not running on the particular machine and the services which are not needed for the particular machine. Like I am not using any ICMPv6 or DHCPv6, no WMI, no DCOM. That means all of those services can be disabled. No multicast means I can disable IGMP also. And what I have to allow, the particularly the rule which I needed is remote desktop services user mode TCP in. I have to harden that particular rule. At which tab we have to go to the scope and we need to provide the particular IP address. So I am actually adding the scope for the destination unreachable. It is not needed, just I am showing you the example. So after this one, I will move to the remote desktop rule, and then I'll go to the scope, and then I will add the particular source IP from where the remote desktop connections are permitted. So svc host.exe. Okay, every time you establish a remote session, svc host.exe process will be shown up. Here we need to provide the remote terminal IP addresses. Either you can give the particular IP or you can give the particular subnet, and you have to click the OK. So this is how we will harden the particular system for remote desktop connections. Unwanted remote desktop connections from any non-legitimate sources will be blocked. For any questions, try to put it in the comment section. I will try to answer as best as possible. Thank you for watching.